And away we go, cars out on track here, and there is our Grand Marshal for the weekend. Green flagging it, Yannick Dalmas, two-time winner of the race. He is also our driver's advisor for the stewards, and he is one of our safety car drivers, as those of you with a little bit of memory will recall from very wet Le Mans about a decade ago, drifting the Audi safety car out around the circuit. So green flag, 3 hours on the clock, and a chance for everybody to continue dialing themselves into the track, to their cars. And for our rookies who had to do 10 laps in the test day, a chance to get more experience behind the wheel.
So look what's occurred here. Looks like he did it. He was wide across the curbs there, way over the curb there.
Yeah, he'd already lost it on the left-hand side. You're right, Graham. He took a bit of curb on the right-hand side before even turning into that Ford chicane. And then as he's committed over the left curb, the rear didn't like it. He lost the rear there. And then when you get the weight transfer going to the right, it finally went around. So here's a look from onboard, touches the curb on the right, and already starts to lose the rear, takes too much curb on the left.
Okay, is the car okay? Al, is the car okay?
Yeah, the car is okay, but the car doesn't brake still.
An advisor, little looping spin for the 150 Ferrari.
Castadio Toledo, Brazilian driver aboard that car, and I don't think he can get that out, can he?
No.
It might be lucky.
Yes, go on, go on. He's trying to spin the wheels and dig the car out, but also can't just get traction because it'll throw him across the road in front of fast-moving traffic. So he's got a double jeopardy here. He's on our side of the car, probably can't see the traffic coming, and is trying to dig himself out. I do feel this might have to be slow zoney.
Yeah.
I think that's going to need a Manitou.
Well, the good part is there's a good sight line to the car. The bad part is the nearest intervention is quite a distance away from the car.
It'll be across the track, I think, that they'll come from.
Okay,
but,
we have to go and help the driver. We are going to activate slow zone 1 at 1440. In 35 seconds, we're activating slow zone 1. 30 seconds to deploy slow zone 1. Seconds to activate slow zone 1. We will activate slow zone 1 in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow zone 1 is now active. Slow zone 1 is now active.
Yeah, exactly. So now we've got that knockout system that we're used to in WEC, but it hasn't been a thing at Le Mans. Something I've been wishing they did for tens of years. And finally we get to see that, but we're getting ahead of ourselves because it's this free practice. They'll treat it just the same as usual, this FP1 session. And in qualifying, it has more weight, obviously, than a free practice session, but it's really when you get through to the hyperpole, that's when the true qualifying starts. But yeah, qualifying, you'll still have to go through all of your drivers, just like they'll treat it mostly like a free practice session, but you've got to make sure you can get through into hyperpole 1 before hyperpole 2. More cars get knocked out. So these knockout rounds that we get, it's good fun, but essentially for this race this year, something that we see in WEC all the time is the split of categories. So you've got Hypercar, their own category out there doing their thing, and then they've lumped in the LMP2 and the LMGT3s together for their own session in qualifying.
Right, chance to get excited about Aston Martins, not just the car, but also the sound.
Indeed. Just two cars between us having the opportunity to hear 24 cylinders lapping in perfect harmony.
What music?
Sounds good from the inside, but it's even better from the outside.
Just hearing from another of our commentary colleagues, anybody trackside here at Le Mans is going to get the opportunity to see a pretty unprecedented sight. 15 Valkyrie road cars will be doing a somewhat spirited track run, headed by Peter Dumbrek in one of those cars. So 14 owners and Peter on track, and they are not going to be hanging about. They have the opportunity for the normal speed restriction to be lifted for this session.
That's impressive. Harry Tincknell looks on. So in super slow-mo, 007 launching itself over the curb. Tom Gamble at the wheel of it. And again, that super slow-mo showing how much energy goes through the car. In the heart of racing, entered Aston Martin. Right, the sister car is one place ahead. 009 at the moment has Romain D'Angelis at the wheel of it. These cars in their first season.
To an LMP2 Pro-Am effort, but still won the class. And then, oh, big trouble here.
That's an Arnlix Mercedes, isn't it? That has got some damage. There's a yellow flag, of course. It's now a double yellow flag. But I fear we might be going for another slow zone or a full course yellow, because that might take a bit of shifting, depending on the extent of the damage, Graham.
Indeed. Bonnet was up on that car as well. Red flag indeed.
Yeah.
I think he's been in the wall.
Oh, yeah, he's lost it on the exit of the first corner. Somehow it's not completely flat out around that first corner. You are braking at the same time as turning, and we often see a car just spin around and end up in the barrier on the right hand side before turning into the left hand. So yeah, Stephen Grove at the wheel now. So was that even on colder tyres coming as well?
Hang on a second, going to stop you there, because we're just seeing a replay of the fastest car in the place, the number 50 Ferrari, with Nick Nielsen having a very rocky ride over the gravel. He got away with that, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there is a piece of carbon fibre
into the McLaren garage. Different livery on the 59 car that we saw, just avoiding the number 38 Hertz Team Jota Caddy early on in the session, driven by James Cottingham and his teammates. So you can see it there with purple, blue and yellow down the side of the car. So that's a different look, but it still has the papaya and black. And behind, the familiar red, white and blue of United Autosports. So United Autosports running those McLarens, but also we're looking at the Porsche, which was designed as a race car. And now Porsche, for lols, have made a, quote, road car version of it. It's not ready for sale. It does have lights. It has a leather interior, but all the impact protection of the race car, but sort of channeling the spirit of Count Rossi's road-going Porsche 917. They've made a road-going-ish car.
Away.
Another new tyre runner, Will Stevens. I was just looking at the graphics there on my screen on the tyre app I have when you mentioned his name, Graham. So yeah, let's keep an eye on what he can do.
He's got a little bit of traffic, but if you can get through that GT car as he runs down to Indianapolis, he's got a clear road ahead of him after that. But what we've already seen is it's close at the top, very close.
I'm fully expecting that. This was close into the chicane as well, running forward with Christensen, the first chicane, and then you're back on, let loose down this straight towards the second one, as now we pick up Will Stevens, number 12 Cadillac Hertz Team Jota, flings the car into the right. You hear that V8 thumping away under him, through the left, no traffic in his way through this part, and then you feather the throttle through the right, keep it tight to then open up the left as much as you can. Takes a lot of curb there, and the rear of the car doesn't really like it that much. He had to back out of it, at least on the steering wheel, and it's all part of the learning process for later on. And then into the final chicanes, much slower here compared to the Porsche curves, and then open it up once again as you come towards the line. What's it going to be for Will Stevens?
Well, after sector 2, he was on target to be 72 thousandths quicker than anybody else, but he ends up in 6th position.
I think that was a GT car through to Arnage that was just costing him a few tenths there. They're in this hunt, no doubt whatsoever.
And this is critical because he's going for a second consecutive push lap, and they will need to do that in qualifying